Hey y'all, happy Monday. So we are digging further still, moving along into Psalm 1, verse 1. I love um I love the whole psalm, but particularly this first verse because it sets up everything. It sets up the two groups of people we're looking at, and really separates them. It describes both groups of people. So we talked last week, the last couple of weeks, about the one. Blessed is the one who walks and lives not in the counsel of the ungodly. So if blessed is the one who does not walk in the counsel of the ungodly, and all of that means following their advice, their plans, and their purposes, then the one who does walk in the counsel of the ungodly, following their advices, plans, and purposes, is not blessed. So in looking at all of that, we our desire is not to be blessed for the sake of being blessed, but following God's way and following his design and his counsel and his plans is the right and good thing. And so while we're not serving God as works, we're not working our way to heaven. When we do follow the precepts, teachings, and instructions of the Father, there are consequences to those choices. We've got 4 boys, and so 3 of the 4 are old enough. We're learning there are consequences to our actions. And we always think of consequences being bad, right? But it's cause and effect, and consequences to some of our actions are good. And so it requires the same amount of energy to make a good choice as it does to make a bad choice. That's one thing that Joseph and I disagree on, is that he says it's harder to make good choices. No, it's not harder to make good choices. It requires the same amount of effort. Now, our flesh may not want to make the right choice, but the choosing requires the same amount of effort. And so, choosing God's way of doing and being right, choosing his counsel, his advice, his plans, and his purposes. And so then we ended Friday talking about nor stands. Blessed is the one who does not stand submissive and inactive in the path where sinners walk. And we dug into what it means to be inactive. I was going back through. I always like to go back through and just recap where we are. And there's always one more thing. But I thought about, if salt loses its flavor and it's not good for anything and it's inactive, it's also just dirt on your food, right? It's just gritty. It's just grit in your food. And nobody wants that, right? So we are not to be just grit. We are to add flavor, and we are to season, and we are to change the places that we're put. So this week, I want to talk about what it means to be submissive. So this portion of the verse is, nor stands submissive and inactive in the path where sinners walk. Now this is where they live their lives. Where sinners, we talked on Friday, are, according to Strong's definition, which this was a great definition, is one accounted as guilty, an offender, and someone who is sinful. This is those who have not made the Lord Jesus Christ Lord of their lives. And so this path where sinners walk, this is where they live. This is what they do, where they go, so that we do not stand submissive and inactive in the sinner's way, or in their journey, in their paths. So submissive, we're going to go through some definitions, and we'll get through a couple today and then pick up tomorrow. Submissive means ready to conform to the authority or will of others, meekly obedient and passive. I'm going to read that again. Submissive is ready to conform to the authority or will of others, meekly obedient and passive. Unresisting was also a definition in submissive and inactive. A definition of submissive: to yield to the authority of another. Inactive is obviously not active. being out of use, not engaged, dull, and sluggish. And so we're going to pick up here tomorrow. I'll see you then. Bye, y'all.